Good morning, students. Welcome to another aspect of your business communication, Unit 3 Technology and Communication. In this particular lecture of mine, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take many of the aspects, that is, drafting, revising, replies, routine claim letters, or adjustment letters. So basically, we are going to deal with many of the aspects at large. To begin with, this particular slide will basically focus upon that as to how the letters that in my previous lecture I have told you about the correspondence and how the correspondence or the letter answering or the letter methodology can be adopted for actually making up your business friendly in the eyes of consumer, and not only in the eyes of the consumer but also to the third party and all. So in this particular slide or in this particular lecture of mine, I will be telling you that as to how are you going to draft the letter, revise the letter, reply of a routine claim letter, particularly what is a claim letter and all, and then how the adjustment of those claims and what is the content I'm going to write in that particular letter to make it according to the norms of the business. To begin with, let us see that what exactly is meant by the term drafting, and that too I'll be talking in terms of a letter. Now, as you all can see, this particular person is whipping off the pages and pages and pages and pages. Pages is being whipped together and it is being made at large. Drafting, like I have told you in my previous lecture also, it's a kind of a aspect wherein you are going to make the entire letter in presence, or you can say in appeal of the entire business scenario. Drafting is preparing the outline of a document or a letter before making it final. So what's to be added to it, what would be the contents, or what would be the matter of facts and all, are all to be taken at large in drafting process. So the following points will be taken into consideration while drafting a letter. The content must start with an introduction of the subject. Like I have told you many a times that you have to be very very particular about the subject. If you are not particular about the subject or the reference with which you are writing a letter, your letter can go in a haywire direction and the person will not be able to get through that what exactly are you going to try to say. Always use point or bullets to explain in detail subject of the story. Say for example, you are not convinced, you have bought a pressure cooker of Hawkins company, and you are not convinced with that particular Hawkins company, and you are going to write a letter that I am not being convinced. So what are those things, or what are the points of Hawkins company of which you are not being convinced of? So you have to use those bullet points at last. The message should be related to the subject only. Now, if you are writing a letter of not being satisfied from the service of Hawkins and all, remember you are not going to talk about Prestige, you are not going to talk of any other brands, but you are going to restrict to the brand of Hawkins only. The reference used for the letter should be clear and in relevant details. Now, whatever referencing or the style of referencing which you have used, you should use it in such a manner that it can be applicable to all the people at large. Meaning to say is that you are talking with reference to a particular object. Stick to that object only. If you are talking with the reference to a pressure cooker, you have to stick to the pressure cooker only. The summary of the letter shall indicate the action or information required as a draft. So, what is a draft? Draft is basically an outline as to how are you going to write a letter, or what are the subject matters or the substance of it, so that the exact message or the exact opinion or ideas can be made at large. Now, to add to it, there are certain kinds of assumption, or you can say there are certain kind of context that has been made with reference to drafting only. Julia K. Alexander, the curator, uh, have mentioned a plan sounded quite reasonable to assemble company was duly agreed, a draft letter was signed. So basically, it is a kind of a reasonable assembled procedure What is a draft? Draft is basically a plan. You are going to plan that what are the context or in which context the particular letter will be writing so that the exact matter. Say for instance, like in the case of Hawkins, you are just writing a letter of a complaint. Like I've already told you that if you're going to go hayward and deviate from the subject, the concerned team or the concerned person will not be able to understand as to what you are talking to. So this is what exactly this particular person wants to say. In Times Sunday 2007, it was being clearly mentioned. The subsequent drafting letter said that the ethics committee cannot interact directly with the staff member situation. See, if the letter is not in accordance to the substance or not in accordance to the matter of the content or of any complaint or of any type of idea suggestion recommendation and all, you won't be able to come to a right conclusion. This is what exactly Times Sunday has to say about it. Now Times Literary Supplement in 2012 made that the protocol was for me to staple the draft letter to a photocopy of letter to an editor. See, basically, there is a protocol. Like you are saying that you are writing a complaint letter. So for writing a complaint letter, also there is a protocol. You have to stick to that protocol and have to adhere to those you can say those rules and regulations to actually draft a correct and a logical letter. Now, there are three main processes of drafting in context of letter if you're talking about. It is about the planning, the drafting, and correcting, and principles to be observed. So, if you are talking about it is basically the drafting procedure of planning, then you are making the aspect of drafting and correcting, and then on the third aspect you are actually going to revise the aspect of it. So this was a thing in which you are actually going to make a point. So I have just made the concept at large to actually tell you that what is drafting all about. The three main processes followed while drafting a letter. The processes are planning. What is planning? Let us see. A letter must be well planned. Planning means pre thinking all the points that have to be taken into first. In case answering a letter, the original letter has to be read out carefully, and the main point have to be preferably underlined. A letter has a purpose, it carries a sense and has a tone. All of these three characteristics are the letter to be have and kept in mind. So just to have a view of what exactly planning is. Planning is actually as to what content or in what context the method of drafting or the method or the purpose of writing should be. Like say suppose example if you are answering a complaint of someone. So before answering the points, keep in mind all those points that have been already set as a complaint pattern. Say, for example, if a particular consumer is complaining about the non delivery of services in time, now you are actually answering this particular letter. You have to keep in mind that the process and the word should be such that you are actually answering the questions. You are not making a question in return of a question. So the tone and the message that which is being carried by a planning and drafting procedure, particularly the drafting aspect, and have to be very accurate and in time. Drafting of a letter procedure 2, drafting and correcting. So the first aspect is of planning, the second aspect is of correcting. The letter is drafted first, giving a reading, and correction is being done to improve the finally being typed out. See, like I have told you that there were certain kind of a purpose for writing a letter in my first slide of my own. Then we have quickly searched on to the main three processes in which we have taken planning aspect as the very first process, where I have told you that you have to actually plan the procedure. Just like you plan your activities, you plan your gaming activities, you plan your timetable, you plan your schedule and all, you will now be planning your letter, and you will be planning your letter in such a manner that everything looks perfect and it should be in accordance of the satisfaction of the receiver. So the point is, the second point says that you have to now correct the things. Correct what? Correct those grammatical errors, correct those spelling errors, correct those punctuation marks, commas, and all that can be evaded and that has to be evaded and all. So that has to be checked in the process of your correcting aspect. Now, if you talk about the drafting of letter procedure 3, principle to be observed. Now, check that the method or the two aspect are being properly observed or not. So basically, uh, if you just have the aspect of as to what are the principles of writing a letter, I'll be discussing a particular thing in detail in the later on of my slide. In the point number one, you have actually those are the process, the three main processes of drafting were you were planning the drafting, you were correcting the drafting, and now the principles are to be observed. And what are those principles? The following principles have to be observed while preparing the different parts of the letter. So there are different principles that have to be taken into consideration, and as to actually say that whether the letter is handling the situation of drafting in a proper manner or not, we have to actually follow a certain kind of principle. Principle will relate to reference of your the heading, then the inside address, then opening salutations and greeting, then the body of the letter. So this has also and the complementary clause, and again the rewriting, or you can say the signature aspect of it. So that is going to include all those principles. So basically, the third element of drafting or the third process of drafting is going to include that there are following principles, and that has to be checked that whether the drafting has followed these principles or not. Like I have told you that drafting is a art as well as science just for the reason because it has certain postulates or certain principles. And what are those principles that are going to be dealt in the third point? First point is the heading. The heading portion of the letter is generally printed on the letterhead uh, with a reference number. The word Messrs shall not be written before the name of the sender while writing a letter of examination hall, because of the printed letterhead does not have in it. The different ways of writing date is being observed. The best method is mention the month first, then the date, and within comma the last year. For example, April 13, 1988. It may be written as 13th April 1988, but should not be written as 13/4/88, and preferably not as 13.4.88. The reference number comes out of the file number. So, like I have told you, the in this particular point or this particular principle of drafting, uh, the planning came, then the correction, then the principles as a third main point. Principle include the very first point of heading. Heading, that means that what exactly is going to be printed on your letterhead. Then letterhead will not have the name of actually who is sending the letter. The name of his will not be there. Only the name of the company will be there, and the date or the reference number. Reference number will come from the file which is going to be cited onto the particular file and all, just to take a or keep a record of when the letter is being posted and all, and the date. Now, writing a date, there are many different ways, but in any of the case, you cannot write as 13.4.88. You cannot insert those dots in between. You cannot insert those colons in between, or say 13 colon 14, 13 colon 4 colon 88. You cannot do this. Preferably, it is, or for at large, we can say that it may be written as 13th April 1988, 13th April, comma. You're going to insert a comma after the month, and the preferable tone will be the month is going to come first, then the date, and then the year. This is an applicable method of actually writing a letter onto a draft, or actually drafting a letter. Or when you are mentioning the heading, mention a heading on the left hand side, or sorry, on the right hand side, mention your reference number and all. On the left hand side, when you're mentioning the date, or it is up to the company's pattern or the company's methodology pattern, that whatever they want to choose the best. If they want to choose the reference number to be on the left hand side, or the date on the right hand side, preferably it should be on the on the right hand side. The date should be always on the right hand side. So in that particular case, the aspect should be in such a manner, because we are following the British pattern of writing. So in that particular case, we always have a particular feeling to write a particular date on the left hand side. Now, when we are writing date on the left hand side, we have to write the date in such a manner that the month is going to come first, then the day, and then the year. Preferably, it should be written as April 13th, 1988, and after April 13th, there should be a comma, and there has to be a comma to actually segregate the month, the day, and the year itself. And it can be written also as 13th April, comma 1988. It depends upon the company's style of writing. So heading is going to bear all these characteristics. Point number two, the or principle number two, that is the inside address. It is always good to address an individual by his official designation, example, the director, the managing director, the secretary, the marketing manager. While putting the name of the person, the following point have to be kept in mind. See, uh, it is always preferably and it is always preferred to mention the position or the designation of the receiver who is actually going to receive the message. uh, but before you are writing the name of the person onto the address on the or onto the inside address, you have to mention following. You have to just have those following points to be kept in mind. The word Messrs shall not be used before the name of the company, because the company is a person in the eye of law, but Messrs the plural of Mr. Messrs can be used only before the name and the partnership firm. See, you are not going to use the word Messer before the company, before the name of the company, because company has its own name, its own identity as per the Indian Companies Act 2013 also, and your 1956 Act also. There is a separate entity of this particular company. So and Messrs is a plural form of Mr. So you're not going to write that Mr. So and so company. You're not going to mention in this manner. While writing Mr. or Mrs., there is no justification of putting a full stop after, like Mr. dot Mrs. dot, because the first letter M and the last word R or S is there. Same is true for doctor, but there shall be a full stop before prof, or prof writing prof comma, because the latter part of the SL is deleted. Uh, Full stop is necessary after company because limited is being deleted. Nowadays, Miss is being written in place of Miss, or inside this letter, not necessary of writing the particular circular letter and all. So in this particular point, what I have actually tried to explicate on the aspect of as to why we are not going to insert M R with a dot. See, M is a capital letter and R is a small letter. You are, the first aspect is this. Second aspect is this, that after a small letter you are not going to put a full stop, because it is a continuation aspect of it. It is not a continuation aspect of it. Same is for doctor. In doctor also it is dr only, not a dot. But the full stop is going to be there while writing prof, prof. You're going to put a dot because sr is not being mentioned in the latter part of it. Similarly, for company, CO, put a dot over there because limited or private limited is not being affixed to it. So nowadays, what we are doing is that MS we are using for Miss we are using MS, and for Mister we are using MR as usual. So you have to be very very particular in all these nuances and writing and in writing those abbreviations and all. You have to be very very particular because these minute details will create a very good impact into the eyes of the reader and all. Second, or the third aspect of your this drafting is opening salutation or greeting. Individual mail, dear sir, shall be used. If you are not clear with the aspect of whether it is she or he, you can use dear sirs. When single individual female, you can use madam or dear madam. While addressing to the company, dear sirs one more time. So the correct step shall be to address an officer of the company. In case of circular letter, the salutation should be gentlemen or dear sir. Using the word sir is not desirable unless the letter is being highly respectable person, like example President of India or judge or editor. Now there are three important persons: your judge, your president, then your editor, or the kind of genre of people who are belonging to this fraternity. They are all to be used with a salutation of dear sir or respected sir, whatever you want to write. But you cannot use sir for every next person, and it is preferably to use gentlemen or dear sirs if you are mentioning the aspect in of a company, and for an individual female, dear madam or dear sir, as the case may be. Then it is all the aspect of body. The most difficult part of writing a particular letter is the body of the letter, and generally the short introduction is to be necessary. Now I am going to give you a particular example. This is just an example, not you cannot apply everywhere. Say, for example, we are writing you in respect of whatever the thing is. We are dealing in dash name of the commodity. Let us now introduce ourselves to the manufacturer. Put a dash. That means who you are and all. Kindly please refer to the discussion you had with the representative who called you on this particular etc. date and all. Then you're going to make a closure of it. Please refer. Kindly please refer your letter number this of this particular date, and your letter is this. So basically, you are this is a kind of a proper manner as to what content is to be there in a particular letter. Remember, students, this letter is only for the purpose of making a general specification thing. That means you cannot apply it everywhere. You cannot apply in the case of writing a leave form and all, writing a particular promotion letter and all, or demotion report and all. You just have to be very very specific of choosing these kind of words. We are writing you in respect of. Most of the time, it is being seen that when you are being, and it is my general perception, and I have seen for the last 2 to 3 years and many a times more, that most of us are in a habit. I beg to say that. Now, there is no word like I beg to say that. You're not begging. You're actually telling. This is to inform you, or I am writing this letter with respect to this particular reason. The best way to answer or write a draft is this only. So you are not to write those words like I beg to say that, or thanking you in anticipation, because there is no aspect of anticipation. You are not anticipating your thanks. Nobody's seeking for that. Next, a complimentary close. Yours faithfully, yours truly are very good. But as far as my opinion is concerned, and as far as your communication teacher, what is my opinion or my suggestion to you people is that always use your sincerely, because the more often you use this particular term your sincerely, the kind of the aspect will be that everyone is going to get associated with it. Do not write those things like yours obediently, yours truly, yours lovingly. It is a bad form of writing. Punctuation marks. All unnecessary punctuation while writing name or address shall be avoided. See, punctuation marks and the use of punctuation marks should be used and should be dealt in such a manner that all the things should be used in a proper manner. There has to be a specific way. For example, instead of writing 18, comma, Shoring Road, Calcutta 700013, it is better to write 18 Shoring Road, comma, Calcutta 700013. So, you have to give a particular aspect. The comma after 18 is superfluous, but comma after road is necessary, and hyphen is useless. You cannot use those colons and semicolons and dots to just add on to the flavor to it. So basically, the aspect is if you are writing your address also. So for example, you're writing the aspect of 18 comma particular road or the name of the road or say a sector. You cannot or in no way you're going to add any comma in between the numbers or in between the digits. This is preferably has to be used. Then the date and signature. A business letter, uh, the common habit of ending with thanking you or thanking you in anticipation. Um, Most of the time I've said this thing, or assuring your service and etc. These all are bad and wrong. You cannot write those things like thanking you or thanking you in anticipation. Or with regards to the correct expression are thank you, with thanks, with regards, with best regards, with kindest regards. If thanking you or thanking you in anticipation or assuring you is best of our service is written, then I am, I remain, we are, we remain has to be written before yours faithfully, yours truly, and yours very truly. The concept behind ending a particular letter is that if you are say you say thank you most of the time when someone gives you a some particular thing, you say thank you. But nowadays it is better, or not only nowadays, but the yester few past years are telling these things a lot, and Britishers are telling these aspects and all, because Americans are into the habit of perfect grammatical grammatical English. But your Britishers are into the aspect of developing new aspect of English and new horizons of English, and that is the reason they have suggested that rather than saying thank you, you can use the word thanks, and it is of necessary to use the word thanks. Similarly, if you are writing those word like thanking you or thanking you in anticipation, it is better to say that thank you or with regards to or with best regard, rather than showing the things and making it too flowery. See, uh, too much sagarin will cause the thing sour. It's a long proverb and an old proverb that if you are going to add too much sweet to something, it will become sour. So you do not have to. You have to make the thing sweet, not sagarin. So remember that everything has a particular limit to it, and in drafting, these particular principles are going to help you in constructing a proper kind of letter. So that was all about the aspect of drafting a letter. Let us now have another dimension as to the second aspect of your letter, and that is revision. What is revision of letter? Now, for everything, you need to revise and revise so that you can have the exact thing and you can see that any kind of mistakes shouldn't be there. Few writers are so talented that they can express themselves clearly, effectively, even in rough draft also. For short routine business communication, you may be able to write quick and easy little with no revision. But however, the longer or the complex letters or the reports, it needs to be revised and revised subsequently. So many of us, or the most, or not, I can not say that most of us, but many of us are in a habit of writing absolutely correct letter, because they can write and express themselves very easily onto even on in a rough draft also. You cannot say that any kind of mistake is there. You cannot even judge the mistakes over there. But for those messages which are long enough, or to say it the other way around, we can say that for short messages or short text messages, like you're not able to come to the particular day or something like that, those text messages of say 1 or 2 lines will not be requiring revising of it. But the moment you are preparing a report or writing a long letter, for that revising is a must concept. Revision provide a service for your reader. If you are always satisfied to send your first draft of your letter or report, you are not serving your reader well. You are not only asking a very high payment in terms of your reader time, attention, and running at risk, but you are also risking your reader's low opinion. See, the very important aspect as to why you need the concept of revising is that, say, for instance, you send a letter without revising and not paying attention to any of those comma, full stop, or any of the typical principles that have been already mentioned in drafting a letter. What kind of opinion a particular person will have? The particular person is very careless, hasty, or you can say very unprofessional, and that is going to create a kind of an image into the mind of the person that you never want to create. And this is for the reason we are revising the letter at large. Secondly, revising requires a shift in your perspective. Often at times it is seen that you are writing a letter. When you are writing a letter, you get carried away very easily. Because, say, for example, if you are writing a complaint letter, and the complaint letter is about a complaint of a pressure cooker that has not been working well, and when you have just taken that particular pressure cooker out from that lid, and you have used those potatoes for just boiling and all, the lid of that particular thing got broken, and that whistle hit your head, and it has caused a huge damage to you. So when you are writing a letter of complaint in such a scenario, so for that you will get carried away. I got hit so severely, and I'm least bothered about the services and all, and I just don't want anything from your side. Only I want is the compensation of my medics and all. So this is, you are getting carried away by revising. The moment you are going to revise your letter one more time, you will understand, okay, this is my fault. I cannot write these words. I cannot use these kind of languages because I am writing a strict letter. I am writing a letter of complaint, but I cannot say that your company is worse or your company is a crap. These kind of languages are totally foul and all. Secondly, detail, deciding what to include. See, basically, in this particular context of revising, what to include and what to leave, that is also to be taken into considerations. And for that, what does my reader want or what does it need? Does my letter or report answer all the questions? What is the purpose of writing a letter? Does my report give all the information needed to accomplish the purpose? What does the communication of my reader suggest? Have I included all the materials essential to it? What do I want my reader to see? How I have included the information? These points are to be taken into consideration while you are revising the thing. Because if you are not taking these things into mind, remember students, the revising pattern won't be a successful thing. So for revising a particular letter, you have to deal with these kind of points. Now, let us see that there are particularly three levels of revising. The very first aspect is the first revision. First revision is structure and clarity. Read relatively quick over your document and look for the logical fallacies, parts of the text that you need to clarify, places you should include additional information, organization, and other broad changes need to be made. Don't worry too much about the spellings, punctuations, and similar errors now. See, in the very first review of yours or the very first revision of yours, what you're going to use, you're actually going to look for that. whether I have not used any kind of flowery languages in writing a complaint letter, or when writing a complaint letter, I have not used any kind of or any kind of falsy language, or kind of a slang language or something like that, or have I actually made the relevance or the letter of relevance to make the company feel that what kind of damage has been caused to me. So all these things have to be kept in mind, and at first go, the aspect of spelling, punctuation, and similar errors should be avoided as for now, for time being. As you read, look at the passages that include more coherent parts, could be rewarded to be more original, creative, artistic. See, when you are reading at the very first aspect, always remember that you have to make a kind of a review that has to be very, very original, has to be creative, and has to be very, very artistic. Uh, and but in the lieu of artistic or artistic pattern, you cannot go the way you want to. You cannot write fantasy and all that. I got hit so hard that those kind of bulges came out of my head. You cannot write these things. So basically, you have to write a clear letter. You have to write a based letter, not an hypothetical one. Finally, look for the information that is being needed and cited. Second, in second, you have to make a peer revision and vocal revision. See, peer revision is going to involve you can ask your family member, you can ask anyone from your friend and all to sit in front and read the letter aloud. By reading the letter, the particular person will be able to tell you that okay, this particular phrase or this particular point is not at all to be used in this particular time phrase, and you can, and for that, don't be argumentative. You cannot argue with the peer. You have to accept his views, and for that you have to be very, very skeptical while making this kind of reviews and all. Vocal revision. See, it is generally being said like I am telling you that I am telling you about any of the aspect, or to say it in other words, I can say, if you are reading a particular document, if you have written a particular blog, or if you are writing a particular essay, and then you want to check that whether it is good or not, it is better to read it aloud. But reading aloud doesn't mean you have to shout. You have to read it aloud in such a manner that it is being audible only to you at a normal voice tone. And final revision, after making these kind of first and second revision, you have to check that any kind of spelling mistakes or punctuation errors or any kind of documentation has not been overlooked, because this is the final step of revision that you cannot, or in no way you can say that okay, I can just evacuate this thing. No, in this particular step you have to be very, very skeptical about your spellings, about your punctuation marks, and about your grammar. So that was all about the aspect of revising concept of your letter. We have done the drafting letter, we have done the revising, and now let us come to a very interesting aspect as to how to reply a letter. What are the replies of a letter? If you see, a response is given to any kind of complaint received in form of customer due to any kind of fault, any kind of service or defect of the process. This is a letter of acceptance to the complaint of which is being shown by the customer to provide a priority with a well-assisted service and proposal in solving the respective problem of the customer. In many cases, the customer asks for some kind of information to be provided so as to take the proper steps to provide satisfactory service to the customer. Now, a customer is saying that when I purchased my laptop, and when I just took it to my home, the moment I opened that particular laptop and switched it on, it then worked out, or everything went blank, and only on a screen is being mentioned Windows and something like that, and nothing is happening. So, if a letter of this kind has to be answered, basically a consumer is asking as to what he should do now. Does he require to make a kind of a replacement thing? Can he replace the thing? Can he do the aspect of anything to be done in your boot up existence and all? or any kind of further assistance to be needed, or can the particular person come to the particular place and solve the thing? Because these kind of things, because the thing is that students, the letter or reply of a letter has to be given with very patience and with very convenient ease. You cannot you cannot have your consumer, or you cannot let go your consumer anyway. For any kind of defect or for any kind of material substance, you have to have a consumer at large. You cannot say that okay, I'm least bothered about this thing. I don't want to answer these kind of silly questions and all that. What to do next and what to do next and all. You have to answer to each and every question and to each and every letter of your consumer, because replying a letter and replying it with convenience and ease is going to make your consumer your final brand loyal. Tips to write replies of a letter. There are some particular tips. We want just a bunch of yes men around here, right? Absolutely. See, and you said. So basically, these three men are ordering, or they are not ordering, they are being reciprocative to their boss. And their boss is saying, I want yes from each and every one of you, or I am going to take only those people who are going to work according to my thing. This is exactly what the consumer want, that from the seller or from the manufacturer, that he or she should be working in accordance to the kind of a thing in such a manner that has to do some kind of relevance, or you can say it should be done in accordance to the kind of a message of the letter that has been given by the particular kind of a consumer. So to add to it, there are some important points to be taken into consideration, and that are the tip. The letter must necessarily be a formal one. Always remember to write a formal letter and not an informal letter. The letter must contain the kind of mistakes and error and avoid it, and a kind of misunderstanding, any kind of misunderstandings being there. See, you have to have a kind of an apologetic feeling. A consumer want that particular thing, and you have to say, yes, I highly apologize for the inconvenience being caused to you. Uh, the letter must be addressed to the exact person. You can, if the letter is being written from Mr. X to the seller, you cannot say, okay, Miss X or Mrs. X, you are doing this thing. You have to write to that particular person only. Relevant information must be provided to the with the letter, as so as to provide the best services. You have to provide the relevant information at large. Proper respect or gratitude must be shown in the letter. Gratitude means need not that you have to bow. You have to use all kind of sir, ma'am, or with truly I am humbly requesting. You cannot use these words. Requesting is going to create a kind of an impact that you are having a kind of folly with your product. You just have to say that I am highly apologize, or I highly apologize for the inconvenience being caused to you people. So this is the kind of a better way to reply a complaint letter of someone. In difficult, it is difficult to tips to write. Basically, we are not going to have those tips to at large. It is very difficult to eliminate. So basically, there are certain points which I have already been told to you. Tips. Let's move on further. It is difficult to eliminate the rumor completely, either from the society or from the organization. This can even work against the interest of the organization. So, the writing of the response letter or writing to a rumor should be effective of in such a kind that a kind of feeling of trust can be maintained. See, if a particular, say for example, a consumer is using a tea, and in that particular tea, at the base of it, there comes a cockroach. Now, what will happen? The particular person will say, "Okay, I'm least bothered with it, and I'm going to pack that particular thing, and I'm going to send the thing to the company itself." Now, this is a great folly, students. Is this kind of follies are always being done as a kind of a manufacturing unit. It always happen in business and all. So now the company, when is having this kind of reputation, one bad word of mouth can crumble down the very goodwill of a big giant organization, and this has happened many a times. and I won't be naming the brand, but there are many of the brands that have been crumbled down just because of one bad word of mouth. So you just have to reply to that particular rumor, because if a particular customer is going to say one bad of word of mouth to the other customer that this kind of cockroach is being available in that particular aspect, so that is going to be communicated at large, and that will cause trouble to the company. So you need to reply very convincingly to the letter of complaint and to the letter, so that the kind of trust factor being developed. And dear medication, how are you? I am feeling much better, thanks. Finally, she began responding to the treatment. So basically, the concept is that you have to respond to the treatment that is being given to you in a kind of a rumor also, in a kind of appreciation also, and you have to respond with reference to the consumer expectations only. Replying a letter, some tips. Once the rumor starts, difficult to control, so you have to be very, very particular about that thing. Proper response letter has to be made. Response letter should be in such a way that you should be able to convince people at large. The best way to write a letter is to give much little information that can be given with the compromising confidentiality requirements. See, if a particular person is saying that using a particular equipment, say a laptop, my laptop got heated up too quickly, and it is of a very well known brand. So that well known brand, when write a letter to the consumer, they are going to give each and every information about the product specifications, about the reason why it has been getting warm and all, and various other things, but they have to maintain their confidentiality about the requirements, or you can say the confidentiality of the basic substance being constructed, because many a times it, you never know what is the intention of the other person. You have to be very, very particular in writing the confidentiality aspects. Now let us begin with the aspect of another thing, that is a routine claim letters. What is a routine claim letters? Basically, claim letters means asking for compensation. The letter of claim is used to ask the company for unsatisfactory work. A claim could be made in getting inappropriate stuff. Commonly, letter of claim is used as a first step to further need to the legal process of claiming the property personal use. So this particular gentleman has bought a shampoo to make the hair much more subtle and silky. What happened is in front of you. So these, the letter which he is going to write will be of claim letter, that my particular hair that has to be supple and that has to be fluffy and all, it became like a broom. So that thing have to be checked, and this is the kind of a claim letter that is going that is the very first step to reach to your final claim letters in your code and all. Claimant, a person who asks for the reimbursement, can attach a copy of the original agreement for letter of proof and thus make the reference of it. Basic component of claim letter, the product name is being there, the exact date when you're going to purchase, the date when the product has arrived, and how much have you paid for that particular product at large. This is a complaint letter, or a claim letter which you're going to, the product model and all, like sender's name is being there, sender's title, positions, organization name, date and all, receipts is being there. Dear sir and ma'am, I am writing this letter to bring to your attention that I am not being satisfied with the quantity of service provided by you. So basically the name of the particular thing, this is a kind of a complaint letter or a letter of claim by which you are going to make the people aware of the aspect as to why are you writing the letter. How to write a claim letter? Claim letter usually target the company's product which are unsatisfactory. The company needs to work done by the contractor that isn't up to the expectations. Indicate the start of the letter that you are making a claim. Always remember, students, when you are writing a complaint letter or you are writing a claim letter, you have to be very, very particular that you are asking for claim. And asking for claim never going to make that any kind of a monetary constraint only. You can ask for claim of any type of or any kind. It is totally dependent upon your on the consumer itself. If applicable, indicate the policy number also. Explain the specific details at large. Then state the amount, attach the document, use relevant documents, determine the date of receive the answer of contract or receive the aspect of it. At the end of the letter, make sure that you thank politely for the recipient and the assistance. See, claim letter doesn't mean that you are going to get heated up. You have to write a polite tone. In no, like in my previous slides only, I have told you when you are writing. I know that it becomes very tedious when those kind of if you buy a particular shampoo which is going to make your hair fluffy and supple, and then your particular hair become like a broom. So it will cause a serious damage to your identity. But still, you cannot leave your patients in no time. Then you have to briefly write about some schemes and offer and more of it. How to write a claim letter? If there is any important form, send it to be filled. Always, I've already been told all these points to you all. Just adjustment letters. Now, adjustment letters are the letters that are being written from the company to the consumers. How to write it? Identify your reader. Adjustment letters should be addressed to the person who filed the claim upon which the decision has to be made. The person name will often be found in the complimentary clause or the complaint. See, you have to remember the identity of the person. You have to remember the identity name of the person to whom are you targeting the component. Establish your objective. The objective of adjustment letter is to inform the reader that the unsatisfactory situation is being corrected. See, if you're writing an adjustment letter, say for example, a complaint letter or a claim letter is being written to Geo and all that for the non-performing of any of the apps or non-performing of any of the services, then the adjustment letter from their side will be that we are working on it and the situation is being corrected now. Determine your scope. You have to tell the particular person what is the scope. You cannot say that if the particular asks for the compensation of a particular product, that to return back the entire money, you have to say that the as per the company policy, I am not in a position to return you all the amount at one go. What I can do is I can make the complementary deficit or I can make the complementary things. Or what I can do, I can return back the half of the amount and can assure you that the complementary thing which I'm going to provide to you is of much more use and much more convenience. Organize your letter. You have to organize your letter in such a manner that the people are not going to get bogged off. Draft your letter. The drafting composition have already been told to you all. Close your letter with a personal, yours sincerely, and thank you. That has to be mentioned at large. How to write an adjustment letter, review and revise as being already told to you all. So let's make a quick recap of what we have done till now. We have done the aspect of drafting the context letter. We have done the three main processes of drafting. We have done the revising of letter, then three levels of revising. Then we have done the replies of letter. We have also done the writing letter in a perfect manner. Routine claim letters has been told to you, and as to how are you going to write an adjustment letter to make the claim in accordance and in convenience to your particular consumer as well as to the producers or manufacturers. So that was all about my presentation of your writing a letter or drafting a letter. Then in claim letters, I've given you the replies also. I've also told you that how to reply a letter. I've also told you about the claim letters and as to how the adjustment is being made at large. Remember, students, writing a letter though seems to be a very easy thing. You just have to take a paper and write something onto it and write a letter. But it actually requires lots of patience and lots of science. So if you are going to adopt the methodology that is being told to you by me today, you can construct a clear, perfect letter in your daily circumstances. For any of the doubts which if is there and you are still not being clear with any of the component of my slide, you can come to me onto my cubicle, you can write me on my WhatsApp, you can send me an email, and if you want, you can also write me a letter. Uh, the concept is that to make you feel that the world of communication is a very beautiful world, and at the same time, the world of letter is also a very beautiful world, provided you have the essence of it. Until my next lecture, thank you.